Hi, I'm Aditya. Millennials today are aware about the controversies plaguing the big tech companies in Western societies. From racial profiling to targeting ads that violate privacy laws, collection of data by unauthorized third party software, utilizing data to observe targeted communities, algorithms being biased towards skin color. We're aware. But as an Indian, I would like to take this opportunity to talk a bit about how algorithms and data are inherently also biased in the Indian context. We have an extremely diverse society with an ever growing divide between the various socio-economic classes. To think that India's digital divide is benefiting the entire society as a whole might be somewhat correct, but also naive. With 65% of India belonging to rural areas where digital penetration has just scratched the surface, relying purely on data raises many misgivings. There are hundreds of communities whose data is either misrepresented or just plain missing from the central database. The sheer population and size and the disproportionate effort made to have a proper mechanism for efficient and safe data collection also means, more often than we realize, that data gets lost or misplaced or misused. And this is not just restricted to rural areas. This is rampant even in highly functioning modern cities like Mumbai or Delhi. Talking about modern cities, we also have seen algorithmic biases play out when recording information of minorities, lower caste communities, and marginalized groups such as women, trans persons, and the queer community. After the horrific Nirbhaya rape case in 2012, there was a surge in safety apps, and the research has sadly shown because of improper collection of data and profiling, most areas that are deemed unsafe are where communities of people from lower caste live or are Muslim dominated, giving rise to higher patrolling in these areas. India cannot consider biases from a westernized lens when its own society is so vastly different with a multitude of socio-economic issues that are usually associated with emerging markets and economies.
Hello folks, I am Abel Mathew, a recent graduate from NIT Rourkela and a former TEDx organizer at my university. This pandemic has impacted our lives permanently beyond what we could have ever imagined. Technology for sure has brought us closer. But the technology that has brought us closer does not mean that it has impacted or everyone is equally equipped to utilize this technology-based resources. Let's take one example of security of any application that we use. Some of us may be well versed how to use strong passwords, how to make sure no one is able to scam us. But what about the people like our parents or our teachers who probably are using these technology resources for the very first time? They may not even understand what the importance of a password is, or maybe why should they even care about having a secure password. For us, we may know that a 4 random digit PIN is probably more secure than using a birth date as your PIN. But what about the people who don't understand this? And this is where the bias of the security of the application starts, wherein people who are not well versed are probably more prone to getting scammed, and that is where our responsibility starts. It's a twofold responsibility. One, as a developer, let's assume one of us or me as an individual is a developer. So what could we do to make sure that everyone is equally equipped to utilize these resources and it's not biased just to the folks who understand this technology? So what we could do probably is have campaigns explaining these things. We could utilize better user experience to explain that your password probably is not very secure, informing them if a password or any of the other pins are compromised, or the best of it all, what if we could have passwordless based systems for logging in? It could be even OTP based one-time passwords or anything along those lines, wherein we don't need to remember things, because the more we have password, the more they are prone to getting stolen. The other responsibility is something which is even more profound, which is our individual responsibility as an individual, irrespective of the fact whether or not we are developers, which is educating the people next to us, be it one individual, be it two individuals, but educating the people who are close to us or next to us, sitting down with them, explaining them what is the right way to do things, what is the secure way to do things. Because as each of us individuals do our part, together we can make sure that everyone across the globe who are using these technologies are equally well equipped to use them securely. So let us do our part, remove the security bias that we have in our technology-based applications by doing our part by educating and by developing secure applications. Let's do it together.